Hi, welcome to Making Teams Cooler with Developer App Templates. My name is Christina Wheeler. I'm a Principal Solution Architect for Canvas Consulting and a Microsoft MVP. In this session, I'm going to talk about the Microsoft 365 Developer Program, Apps and Teams, Extensibility Points, the Microsoft Teams App Templates, as well as provide some helpful resources. One of the things you can do as a developer is sign up for the Microsoft 365 Developer Program. This program will provide you a free, renewable, 90-day Microsoft 365 E5 developer subscription. This subscription will include 25 licensed users, as well as provide the ability to install sample data packs. With this subscription, you will have access to community events and experts, as well as other helpful developer resources. So if you haven't signed up for one today, I highly recommend you do so. This will help you to be able to develop an environment separated from your production environment. So that way you can continue to learn and not worry about affecting your production. Now I want to talk about apps and teams. There are many different types of apps that you can deploy within Teams. And the first one is Microsoft apps. Many of the Microsoft apps you're already working with, such as OneDrive, OneNote, SharePoint, Excel, and so on. And then the second option you have is to deploy third-party apps. Third-party apps provide the ability for you to integrate your other systems and processes together. For example, you could already be using ServiceNow and may not be aware that there is a ServiceNow app that you can deploy within Teams. This ServiceNow app is a virtual agent bot where you can have your users get help directly within that bot within Teams without having to leave Teams. There's over 700 third-party apps available, and this continues to grow. And then the last option you have is the ability to deploy your own custom apps. Deploying your own custom apps provides you with unlimited possibilities to help with business processes, productivity, employee services, approvals and workflows, and more. With the custom apps, you have the ability to build an app from scratch, or you can leverage what Microsoft has available, which is called the Microsoft Teams App Templates. And you can also leverage the Power Platform. Both the Power Platform and the app templates provide a low, no-code solution option. App templates are going to be the main focus of this session, but before I dive into app templates, I want to talk about the different extensibility points that are available within Teams Dev. The first one is bots. Bots provides the capability for your users to have one-on-one conversations to get tasks done. Another extensibility point is tabs. When you create a Teams team, the team will already have some default tabs as part of that team. Well, you can have your custom app have the capability to have its own tab. And then another extensibility point is messaging extensions. Messaging extensions would be when the user goes to chat, you'll see different icons here. These icons are all a different type of messaging extension. So you can create a messaging extension to allow your users to query and share information as a rich card. And then another capability is an activity feed. So you already should be comfortable with the activity feed. And to be honest, there's times that I'm a little annoyed by the activity feed, which is where I can go in and decide which teams I want to get notifications from. But this is also helpful because it helps me understand things that I could miss. So your custom app can have the capability to feed information into that activity feed. And then another capability is adaptive cards. Adaptive cards is one of my favorites to work with, and it's heavily used in bots. Adaptive cards provides the ability for your users to take action within card updates. And then the last option here is personal apps. There's different types of scopes that you can create your app for. And one of them would be a personal scope. So in this example, this is the Microsoft Tasks by Planner and To-Do app. A personal app is for that individual user, so that when I'm logged into Teams and I'm looking at this Tasks app, I'm seeing all of the tasks that are pulled from Planner and To Do for my account. To learn more about the extensibility points and capabilities, please visit aka.ms/teamsdevdocs. The next thing I want to talk about is the Microsoft Teams app templates. App templates are community-driven, pre-built Teams apps for common line of business scenarios. Minimum configuration is needed and no coding is required, so it's considered a low-code, no-code solution option. You can work with these templates out of the box as is, or you can download the code and customize it to extend it to fit your need. App templates are available at aka.ms/app templates. When you go to the page, it will take you to all of the available app templates that are production ready that you can deploy for your Microsoft Teams environment. Any of the apps that have a star is the indicator that these are newly released app templates. And you will continue to see more and more app templates become available over time. The key benefit of these app templates is that it provides a plug-and-play experience. So like I mentioned before, no coding is required to deploy these apps. You have production-ready code. These templates conform to the recommended best practices around security and infrastructure. And if there are any community-submitted changes, they are reviewed to ensure that they are continued to conform to the recommended best practices. So all of the app templates are ready for you to deploy as is. However, they can also be customized because the entire code base and deployment scripts are provided for every single one of the app templates. That way you can easily customize or extend any of them to fit your needs. So no matter if you're deploying the template as is or customizing it to fit your need, each one of the app templates includes detailed documentation and support. So you'll have end-to-end documentation on the solution architecture, as well as deployment and configuration steps. Also, all of the repositories are monitored on GitHub. So if you encounter any problems, please report the issues by raising an issue on GitHub. Before you can deploy any of the app templates, you will need to ensure you have custom apps enabled within your Teams tenant. So currently I'm working within my developer tenant, and therefore I have everything turned on, but there's different settings that you can set based upon what you want to allow within your production environment. So in this case, I'm under the Manage Apps settings, and here you're going to see a toggle here for custom apps. And this is where you can completely enable or disable custom apps altogether. Well, this is where you need to have this turned on if you want to allow deploying any of the custom apps. Then the next setting is under the permission policies. Under the permission policies, you're going to see that you're going to have a drop down for each of the different types of apps that can be deployed. Like I mentioned before, you can deploy Microsoft apps, third-party apps, as well as custom apps. And for each one of these, if you click on the drop down, it's going to give you 4 different choices that you can choose from, where you can allow all apps, which is the default setting, or maybe you just want to allow specific apps and block all others, or block specific ones and allow all others, or completely block all apps. So these are the options you have for each one of these different types of apps that you can deploy. So I have this turned on, and then the last setting I have enabled is in my setup policies. And as I mentioned, I'm working within my developer tenant, so I'm not so concerned about disabling certain features. Therefore, I have this option turned on as well under the setup policies for allowing to upload custom apps. Now I want to talk about some of the current app templates available that you can deploy. One of them is called Workplace Awards. Workplace Awards contains the capability of a bot, a tab, and a messaging extension. This template provides a way for your organization to set up and manage an employee rewards and recognition program. This provides your employees the ability to nominate colleagues within a team for awards as well as endorse nominations to show their support. So here's an example of workplace awards deployed into a Teams tenant. Obviously, by the dates, this was deployed last year. What you see here is the adaptive card for workplace awards. The employees can click on Nominate Now, and then they can choose their nomination, and then they would get a preview of the nomination. And then once they click on Nominate, it would do another post with an updated adaptive card that would then have the ability here for all the people in the team to be able to endorse this nomination. And then for those that would be managing this rewards program, they would have a tab that they can access. So of course, this is kind of demonstrating the tab functionality. They would have a tab here they can access where they can manage the rewards by setting the captain, managing the rewards, or granting awards. The next app template I want to talk about is custom stickers. Custom stickers is actually one of my favorite app templates, and it was one of the first ones that was created. This app template provides the ability for you to have custom images and GIFs within a chat message. So the architecture behind this is it has a messaging extension, which is an Azure function to return the images within the Teams chat. And then there's a configuration app that is used so your app administrators can manage the stickers, otherwise known as the images, to be returned by the messaging extension. And here's an example of the configuration page that is used to manage the images for your messaging extension. There's a very good use case for this app template. For example, when you create a Teams team, by default, all of the settings and features are going to be enabled. And so what I'm looking at here is I'm in a Teams team called Teams Development, and I have a channel called Stickers Demo. And in here, here's where I can chat. And this anything down here below is your messaging extensions. And what you can see here is I've got a lot of the default messaging extensions, such as I can use the out-of-the-box GIFs here, or I can use the out-of-the-box memes. Now, let's say, for example, you don't want to use these. Maybe you want to disable this within your organization and just control the images that you want to have allowed to be in the chat messages. So what I can do is the first thing is for this Teams team, I'm going to go and manage the settings of the team. So I'm going to manage the team and go to settings. And the next section I'm going to go to is fun stuff. And let's say, for example, we decide, okay, we want to disable the Giphy and the stickers and memes that are enabled by default, but instead use our custom stickers messaging extension so that way we can control what images are being used. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these two settings off right here. And when I turn this off and go back to my stickers demo channel, I can go and start a new conversation. And when I start a new conversation, you should notice here now that the GIF and the meme buttons here are no longer there. Now I have deployed this stickers app template to my environment. And if I go into my Azure portal here, I can look at my resource and all of this, I deployed this app template strictly the way it was out of the box. I didn't download the code and customize it. I'm just working with it exactly the way that it was created for. And then what I have here is the web application that is used for the configuration. And in here, you can see I already have some images pre-populated here. And if I click on one to edit, I can click on an image here to edit. And then what you'll see is I have a name for the image and then keywords. When I can put in keywords on what search terms I want to allow the users to type in to search for the image. So I'm going to show you this right now with just the images that I have preloaded. And then I'll add some additional ones so you can see how it works. So I'm in here in the stickers demo. And when I deployed this, I just called it stickers. When you deploy these app templates, you can call the app whatever you want. I called it stickers and I changed the icon for it, but this is all stuff that you can actually customize very easily. So if I click on stickers, what this is going to do now is load my messaging extension. And so what it's doing is pulling my images from Azure. And you can see I have 4 images loaded here. And so if I go back to my configuration app, you should see I have 4. So I have 4. So going back to here, there's my 4. And then I can click on an image and it's going to load in here. Now, one of the things about this is the way your image is going to load is exactly the size that you uploaded to your messaging extension. So in this case, you can tell I have it a little bit large, but if I wanted to make it smaller, I would just resize the image and update it within my configuration in the app. Now I'm going to go ahead and just send this. So you'll see that the sticker showed up in this chat message here. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to add some additional images to this messaging extension. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the configuration web application to manage this messaging extension and then click to add a new image. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose. I'm going to go find another image. And let me go ahead and grab this one. My friend's over here at the 365 Message Center show. Okay, so I know this is my friend Daniel, and I also have Daryl. And what I'm putting in here is any keywords that I want this to allow this image to be searched on. So let's do 365. I'll do Message Center. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Add Sticker. Now I added the sticker into this messaging extension, but it's not going to show up yet because I need to click Update Messaging Extension. So if I go here, click on Stickers, you'll notice that the new image is not showing up yet. So I'm going to go back to the configuration, update the messaging extension. You'll notice that I have a message here telling me that it was updated successfully. And then if I go back here, oops, to use this again, now you'll see that my new sticker showed up. So I can click on this and it's there. Now let me show you the part with the search terms. As you notice here, I don't have a whole lot of images loaded at the moment, but if I did, it would make it a lot easier for people to be able to search on it. And you saw that I added some keywords to the image. So if I type 365, you'll notice that it filters just that image. Another thing you may notice is that there's no categorization in this messaging extension. So if I were to start to have a lot of images within this messaging extension, I think I would want to modify this to extend it and customize it a little bit more to where I can add categories and so on. And so like I mentioned, these app templates are given to you to work with as is, or you could download the code and update the code and extend on it and make it add more features and enhancements to it to fit your needs. The last example I want to show you is the Incentives app. The Incentives app is a Powerapp template that you can deploy to manage and track incentivized employee participation for specific activities that you designate. So there's 2 parts on this. You have one for the admins where they can establish the activities, assign points for completion, and specify required eligibility points for the rewards that you want to grant. And then the second part is what the employees get to do. So they can view their accumulated points, and then once they reach an eligibility, they can request and claim redeemable awards. This app template has 2 main components. A Powerapp Template, which is a Canvas app that has 2 screens. It's going to have a home screen for the employees and then an admin tool screen for the administrator to manage the incentives and the rewards. There will be a Sharepoint site with 4 custom lists, and the list will have 2 for the incentives and rewards that the admin puts into the Powerapp, and then the other 2 are to hold the user incentives and rewards. If you decide you want to deploy this incentives app, what you would need to do is go to aka.ms/app templates and then look for incentives. When you go to incentives, you would then click on Get It on GitHub. And then here it's going to take you to the repository for this solution. And what I would do here then is, if I click on deployment, you're going to see that there's 2 files here. I'm going to have a PowerShell file to deploy the Sharepoint site and lists, and then the incentives app, which is the actual Powerapp. So if I go back to here, I would download this. So I'm going to download this as a zip, save it locally. And one of the first things I'm going to do is, because I'm running on Windows 10, I'm going to check the property of this downloaded file. And anytime you download specific files, the OS will automatically kind of block some of the file as a protection that's built in. So I know it's blocked because when I went to the properties of it, I'll notice here that I have an option to check unblock. So I'm going to check unblock and click apply. And when I click apply, now I know that's gone. And then the next thing I'm going to do is unzip this zip file. And when I unzip the zip file, now I'm going to have everything I need. I will have the PowerShell script that I can execute, and then I'll also have the Power App. Now, if you don't have the ability to run PowerShell, you can actually create these lists manually. And by doing that, there will be instructions within the documentation that you can follow to create the lists. So here I have the option here to create SharePoint lists manually. And if I click on it, then it's going to take you to the steps or through the steps and everything you need to do to create the manual lists that are required for this solution. What you're looking at now is the incentive site that I had created for this solution. I actually ran the PowerShell to do this. And what you're going to see here is I have the 4 custom lists that I talked about that you would have. And the users aren't going to go into the SharePoint site and look at any of these lists, right? Because the Power App is using these lists, and the only thing the users are going to access is the Power App itself. But I just wanted to show you the back end of this. So here's my 4 list here that the Power App is using. And if I wanted to deploy this Power App, which I already have it deployed, but let's say pretend like I did not have it deployed, what I would do is go to the Power Apps portal. And from there, I would import the Canvas app. So I would click Import Canvas app. And then what I would want to do is upload the zipped file, this incentives app zip file that I had downloaded from GitHub. So then I'm going to click Upload. It's going to upload it. Okay, so it's uploaded my package. It's now giving me options here. I don't have any error messages. It's telling me here I can create it as new, or if I wanted to, I can actually update, but pretend like I haven't deployed it at all, so I may want to create it as new. And then I can click on Import. But I already have this within my environment, so I'm not going to re-import this. But I went and click cancel. Here's my Power App, the incentives Power App. And if I go to edit, now I have the Power App open, and you'll see I have my user screens, and you would just walk through the deployment steps because it will have you update some data connections, but this is already completed and has been published. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click play so I can preview the app. And if I preview the app here, you see it's defaulting. I get to see here what the home screen is going to look like. And this is actually running real time. It's pulling my data from my list. And then I can click on the admin tool. And when I click on the admin tool, it's going to take me to this screen where I can manage the rewards, adjust points, update activities, and so on. So here's showing you a preview of the Power App. And then if I go back to Power Apps here, I can click play, which you're going to see it load in the browser here. But what I want to do is have this actually uploaded into Teams. So the cool thing is here is you do have the option now for Power Apps to add to Teams. So if I click on Add to Teams here, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up a panel where I could download this app. So I'm going to download it. It's going to package it. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I will just put it, I'm just going to do a new folder just because I have some other downloads here I don't want to confuse myself with. And so I have my incentives app, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to show in folder, go to the properties, unblock it. Okay, verified it's unblocked. Then I can go to Teams, Now that I'm in Teams, I can go and upload this Powerapp. So what I'm going to do now is you're going to have two choices. I can upload for me or my teams, which will give me the option to post to a team channel or a chat. And then the other option is to just upload for the actual tenant to become a standalone app. So I'm going to do the first option here. I'm going to upload, and you'll see I have the ability to add it to a team or add it to a chat. I'm going to go ahead and add it to a team. And I'll add it to my general teams development. And then now I have the option here to post it as an announcement in the channel. And there you go. Now this Powerapp is loading as a Teams tab within my general channel of my Teams development Teams team. And of course I'm logged in as an admin, so I see the admin screen, but if I logged in as a different user that did not have the ability to manage this, they would actually not even see the option here to click on this link. I do have a different profile set up so I can show you what it would look like for the regular user. I'm going to go ahead and change to the other profile. Here I've got the incentives app tab open. And if you look at the screen now, I do not have the home or the admin tool links because I'm just a regular user employee of this app. And therefore I'm just going to see this as my screen. Now I'm going to go back to my other profile, the admin one, and go to the admin tool. And let me take a look. Okay, so you have rewards. I've got different rewards here. And for the rewards, you can add a reward, you put in the reward name, how many points, and then an image that you would want to use for that. So you see here, I've got Grubhub, $10, Best Buy, 25, Uber Eats. And then for activities, on this one, I have attend online training. And of course I can put an end date, and maybe in this case, then I can decide to make it active or inactive. And what you do with these activities are you provide an incentive code. So that way you can give the incentive code to your employees, and then once they've completed a task, they can put that code in and decide to claim and request to get a reward. For example, I've got this incentive code. I'll go back as Tony and enter the code, click submit. Oh, look at this. It said I've already collected points for this code. So let's go back and add one more activity. I'll add a new activity, attend online conference. Points, we'll make it 100. End date, we'll make it a couple months out. And for this incentive code, I'll just make this 02. Click add. And now I have a new one here that's added. Let me go back as Tony. So now I've given Tony the new code, and Tony's going to go ahead and input this code to try to claim this. And here we go. Tony's able to collect points. And now it's showing that Tony has 100 points to redeem, has a total of 150 so far. And then let's say, okay, I can view all the rewards, and Tony can say, okay, you know what? I want to go ahead and redeem this for the Best Buy. Click redeem. And once I redeem, then the admin would have to go in here and decide to approve rewards. So now I can see Tony Stark put in a request to cash in the 100 points for this reward, and then I can decide if I want to approve it. Oh, I got to put in the voucher code. Now it's been approved. And if I go back as Tony, okay, there's one thing I did notice with this app is that I'm in here, but there's no refresh option, or there's no refresh here. So I'm going to click refresh, but this may be something I would decide to go and update the Powerapp later to actually just have a refresh option directly within the Powerapp itself. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on the refresh icon right here. And as soon as I do that, I'm logged in as Tony. I'm seeing that I've redeemed my points and was able to redeem for that Best Buy gift card. This concludes the presentation. Here's some helpful resources for you for the developer program, as well as the link for the Microsoft Teams app templates and some documentation to help you with your Teams development journey.